He's Devin McCourty, former defensive back, won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots, now works for Football Night in America. I'll get to Tua's injury in a moment, Devin, but let's look at the game itself. Let's say Tua was healthy and they lost this game. What would we be saying about the Miami Dolphins and their approach to the Buffalo Bills last night?
We would be saying the same thing we've been saying over the last few years. They just can't get over the hump with Buffalo. I think Buffalo's defensive scheme and how they play against Miami's high-powered offense of let's keep 2 safeties deep, let's keep everything in front of us, let's force you to drive the field on a 10, 12-play drive has been the formula. And I think they've executed it probably better than any team in the NFL. And they play them twice a year. So they're familiar. The speed doesn't surprise them. And they play to that. And then I think obviously the X factor is always Josh Allen. I think he's one of the best in the game, top 2, top 3 in the game. And when he can play a style of game for Buffalo that is just whatever they need to win, whether it's him running last week against Arizona or this week, only 1 touchdown, not a lot of yards, but controlling the game. I think it's just hard on Miami against Buffalo.
Yeah, and I think it'll get lost on how impressive this was with Buffalo because they played great. James Cook, 3 touchdowns. If you would have said that I got those numbers out of Josh Allen and they won convincingly on the road, I mean, it's a really big signature win for Buffalo. I didn't understand with 8.5 minutes to go, Tua's out, and they take out Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Now, I know they're down 21, but I don't know if Mike McDaniel said, we're not going to win this game. Let's not get anybody hurt.
I think that's a feeling. I think coaches and players, whoever it is, I think when you're on the sideline in the middle of the game, you get kind of a feeling. And I think obviously when you watch Tua go down, I think you start to read your guys of like how it's impacting them. What are they going to do taking the field next? Are they going to be a little too cautious? So I think that's a feel thing for a coach, especially you're down. It's kind of at that point in the game, even though there's 8 minutes left, I think you get the feeling of like, hey, we just need to kind of get out of Dodge. We're playing on a Thursday night. We'll get a few extra days. We'll regroup, and then we'll go from there. I think Mike McDaniel probably got that feeling and was like, hey, let's just end this night and get on to the next week.
What did you see on the Tua play?
I mean, that's listening to Josh Allen come on and say that, like, that's the danger of our sport. I think, when you play this sport and you decide to do that, there's risk you're taking. And as much as we watch this, it's kind of a routine play. It wasn't one of those things. When I first saw it, I thought DeMar Hamlin's knee hit Tua because I've seen concussions happen that way, but just kind of his forearm hit him in a place that, they kind of sometimes call a sweet spot or whatever, and instantly you can see the concussion. So, but really a bang play and a play that, which is crazy in our sport, you can watch over and over again and see it and nothing happens. And then that one time a guy gets a concussion like Tua, and always tough to watch. And, I think what Josh said, you're praying for him and trying to make a decision, praying for him and his family, but really unfortunate to see last night.
Can you put yourself in his shoes? You're 25 years of age. You think you're invincible. You just got paid. This is the 3rd, maybe the 4th concussion that he's suffered. Can you have the wherewithal to go, you know what, let me think bigger picture here instead of my football career?
Yeah, I think that's where you count on your family members. I think it's one of those really tough conversations that, I don't think can happen right now in the moment. I think it's, as the days go on or maybe a week goes on and you're still out and you're thinking of having a conversation and talking about what life looks like after football. I think it's easier for me to say that now after playing 13 years and being retired, of knowing that there's still good life at the end of football. But when you're in the middle of it, I think about myself when I was 25 or when I got my first concussion. I think I was 27 years old. And the doubts that come in your mind of going back on the field, all of those thoughts that come in, I can't imagine now. You talk about 3, 4, maybe diagnosed.
But what if your mom said to you, I don't want you playing football anymore?
I think we would go back and forth of me saying, no, I still want to play. And I think that's what it is. It's not one conversation. It's a back and forth of you trying to balance people in your life that are looking out for you. But you also, like you said, you feel like you're invincible. This is a game you love to play. It's hard for someone to take it away from you when you feel like you can still play.
If you're Mike McDaniel, you're the Dolphins, you built this offense around Tua. These are quick reads. Get the ball to your fastest guys and let them make plays here. Can you get a quarterback who can replicate that kind of style that Tua? If we're looking at a bigger picture here, the rest of the season, can you find somebody like that?
You hope, I would say, from my time being in New England, when we played them and Tua wasn't there, we usually beat them. When Tua was there, they gave us a tough time, and I don't think I ever beat Tua towards the end of my career. So I would say it's going to be really hard for them. They haven't been able to do that yet, and they've tried to do that. Teddy Bridgewater, Mike White, they've had guys in there as backups. It just hasn't worked out. They haven't been able to run that offense the way Tua can.
Sunday Night Football, you have the showdown between the Bears and the Texans. That'll be on Football Night in America, and coverage starts at 7 Eastern on Football Night in America, the most watched weekly studio show for 18 consecutive years. Talking to Devin McCourty, former Patriot champion and an analyst for Football Night in America. I wonder if this is too much too soon for the Bears to be in prime time. Even the Texans, most of their games were at 1 o'clock last year. The Bears, 1 o'clock. That difference as a player of playing a game in prime time as opposed to a 1 o'clock game is what?
The timing of it. What do you do? Your routine changes dramatically, especially like you said, these are younger football teams. So when you have a whole season of mainly 1 o'clock games, you don't even know what that other schedule looks like. So I think that's the bigger adjustment. And then I think it's just calming down and realizing, hey, it's just another football game. You got to go play it and you got to enjoy it. I always felt, being in New England, I came into all of the primetime games and you got to enjoy being the only game on. Yes, you don't want to overhype it, but I think you got to see it as a privilege. And, I think for young guys like Jalen Johnson, who missed the top 100 last year and was vocal about it, these Sunday night games are what gets everybody's attention. You want to go play your best ball. So I'm looking forward to seeing both of these teams Sunday night and who rises to the occasion and plays their best.
What is the common mistake rookie quarterbacks make?
Oh, it's not fully understanding and knowing what you're seeing. You break down the film last week of Caleb Williams. He wasn't off by a lot and just missing throws. I think Tennessee did a really good job of switching up different looks. Sometimes it was with pressure. Sometimes it was just 4-man rushes. They just kept spinning the dial, what we call it, of coverages and rushes so that he never could get comfortable. And I think rookie, sometimes you think, hey, I've seen this, I know it, and then it switches on you. You just got to have a beginner's mindset every single play, not just every game, because it's these defensive coaches, they can do a lot of different things to you.
But who did you dial into where you almost felt bad for the rookie because they weren't what they thought they were seeing, they weren't seeing with the Patriots defense? Did you have did you ever feel sorry for a rookie quarterback?
Well, we had him playing against the Jets. We had Sam Darnold, then we had Zach Wilson. I always felt bad. Those young guys, I live in New Jersey, from New York originally. When you're in that area, they're gonna scrutinize everything, and we would give them a lot of different looks and pressures. It was tough to deal for as a quarterback.
What was your Super Bowl pick?
I picked Detroit this year. I was going Detroit.
Detroit over?
Detroit. I was thinking Detroit over Baltimore is what I picked early in the season.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's weird, though. We do have certain teams where we don't care what they do during the regular season. It's the Cowboys, I don't care. The Ravens, I don't care. Even the Chiefs, I don't care. It's once you get to the same thing with the Patriots, with you guys. It'd be like, it doesn't matter. Once they get in, then we find out who they are. And we find out who the Ravens and Cowboys are in a negative way, and we find out who the Chiefs are in a positive way. They're just certain teams where I don't know if there's another team that you go, yeah, let me see what they do in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, I think those teams, I would say Cincinnati's kind of creeping into that where, I think a lot of people feel like because they beat, Kansas City that one year, that they're like this dominant team. And, everybody's been saying it this week. They always start slow as if like it's a given they're going to get going. So I think people see them. I don't see Cincinnati like that, but I think Buffalo's in the same thing. Last year, they didn't play that well during the regular season. Then they somehow come back and take the AFC East. Then it was like, all right, what are you going to do now? You're going to beat Kansas City. So, and I think the Jets will be like that this year. And the last team I'll put in there is the 49ers. We know you can get there. We know, but everybody, only thing they care about the 49ers, I think now is, can you win the Super Bowl?
What's it like to tackle Josh Allen?
Uh, it's can you tackle him? Is he going to jump over you? Is he going to run over you? I mean, the guy's tough, and I hate when people say he has to learn how to protect himself more or do this. Yeah, he's got to be smart as a quarterback, but when he gets into the secondary and there's guys like when I was out there, I was 190 pounds and he's running full speed. You either jump over him, Josh, or you run over him, and it's fun to watch. A lot more fun to watch than it was to play against him and try to get him down.
Great to talk to you. Have fun on Sunday night. Thank you, Devin.
Appreciate it. Good talking to you, Dan.
Devin McCourty, Football Night in America studio analyst and three-time Super Bowl champ with the Patriots. It'll be the Bears and the Texans coming up on Sunday night.